that's terrible.
Oh, I like them
you're
cookies and I
starting
like
to-
them grits.
I don't really like them chocolate chips.
See that? That needs to be the video.
Yeah.
We need to be on like one of those like big red sound stages, you know?
Yeah.
As like the platform that has a band on it, and we're doing this little. And I like them cookies and I like them grits, but really like them chocolate chips. We're in like
Get the kitchen radio song going.
we're in
on.
like an Nabisco suit, and then like superimpose the little Nabisco guy in there. That'd be awesome.
We could just make that's what we should do. We should find all the weird crap that I make up and make an album out of that. Like a 15-minute album, like 1-minute songs.
Radio.
Kitchen radio.
We'll call it Living with James.
I like that. That sounds good.
James in living color.
That sounds different.
Living. I don't want to call it Day in the Life of James because it's not you that it affects, it's the rest of us.
Living with the James. Life as a Doden.
Life James adjacent.
Oh man, they're like life.
Life adjacent to James.
James adjacent.
I like it.
It could be.
Show
good.
you walking on Kitchen Radio.
And in the background, you just hear like a plate,
Radio.
like thrown against the wall. Like that's enough of that song. Or something more vulgar, because we're no longer in the PG range at that point.
You just see you become Marshall from How Much
I
Money.
know.
At that point, you're like,
Except the problem is, like, at least his songs,
picking up broken plates.
at least his songs like apply to what he's doing. I had the kitchen radio song. I watched my grandma open a kitchen radio in the year like 2014. Like
was
that
she
was
opening a
still
kitchen radio
thing.
like out of a box? Or
It was
she
a
like-
Christmas present.
She was okay.
And so I just was like, kitchen radio, kitchen radio, kitchen radio. And like, I didn't do it to anybody because my family, like, we're like different people, right? They're Western Kansas farmers and I'm not. Therefore, just different senses
Brain's
of humor.
a bit different.
People wouldn't like connect with that. And so like, I shared it with Gila. I honestly I don't think she was there. I think this was before she came out for Christmas the first time. And like, so I have no idea where it came
You
from.
had it was around the time or right before we lived together. Because remember, that's the same time we had Haytel, and you sent me a Haytel of the kitchen radio song. But I think that was when you and Gila went.
Yeah,
out
she
there.
might have been there. I don't remember where I was.
No,
doing
you
it.
had told me about it before.
Oh,
And
I
then
think
you went out there.
I think I
and
saw
you were
it.
standing next to the radio, and you sent me the message.
I think we were at. It was before Christmas. Like it was at Christmas time, but it was before she opened it, and I was in the back room looking at stuff, and they still had some stuff to wrap. And so I saw it. I was like, "What the hell is that? A kitchen radio? Kitchen radio." Jill was like, "What? What are you singing? Like,
What are you doing?
kitchen radio?" She's like, "James, I didn't answer the question.
It was at that point.
Kitchen radio."
And you're sitting there going like, this is me answering the question. I'm just singing the song.
I
Radio.
think that's what it was, and then it just kind of spiraled from there.
That's when she knew that she
That's
might
right.
have doubts.
That's right. But see, the problem is that you don't. There's a lot of times where I sing songs and you don't get to hear them again because they were really bad, or like I had a good like one sentence and the next sentence just like falls apart because I like tried to rhyme it and missed terribly and used the rhyming word in the middle of the sentence and then I could not come back to a new one
That's
because
where we come together.
I don't know what iambic pentameter is. I can't even spell it. I
Do
can
you
barely
write songs
say
that
it.
I am a pentameter?
I have
in
no
that?
idea. I don't write songs at all. I sing about kitchen radios and
I sing songs.
Nabisco
about,
chips. I add words to songs that don't have any.
Does Nabisco make chips or they make
That's
cookies?
what we should do. Nabisco makes a lot of crap. But we should listen to Yanni. You remember Yanni? Like instrumental. He was like the king of instrumental music when our parents were growing up, I think.
I recognize the name, but I don't remember
yeah.
ever-
You would never recognize the music, but your parents would.
No.
My parents loved Yanni. We would go on a car ride.
I've heard it thrown
and
around in
listen
like
to
stand-up
Yanni.
routines.
Yeah, because it's like the instrumental music. We just listen to like an album of Yanni and just like make up words to it as we go. That would be a thing that I would watch. We were talking about that. That's what I would watch. Me on Twitch making up words for
Just a
Yanni.
show in the car.
But I'd have to research Yanni and like get some background on him, like where he is from and who he is as a person.
You probably also would have to do something where you wouldn't get a copyright strike because you're using Yanni's
Well,
music.
probably true, but that's.
Instrumental.
Do they have
royalty-free
copyrights in the
music.
1980s? I don't think so. That seems like a new thing. Yeah. All right. What are we doing here?
What we're doing here
I mean,
is
we could still put all that in.
what
I
is
don't care.
yeah. I kind of plan on making it a rolling start at this point.
Yeah.
Like it just pops up.
Yeah.
But what we're doing here is what we would normally call points of interest. So let's
Mhm.
see how we have all the things. We have the iPad, the computer, and the TV. But we were just kind of talking before all this got started. By the way, if you are new here, I'm Jake. This is James. We are your illustrious hosts this evening.
Illustrious.
Step in, have a seat, buckle up, because it's about to get weird.
Sit down. Sit down and step up. Step up to the streets.
Step up to the chair and have a seat.
Dance battle.
But we've been doing, today would have been the 44th episode of Points of Interest.
Mhm.
It's gone through a few different iterations of, it started out as being a video games and sports and tech podcast, and then turned into,
Boy, that was exhausting.
yeah, that was terrible. And that's why we
It
don't
wasn't
do,
terrible. It just
it was a show with truly no identity.
it
Of like,
was.
well, it's like 10 minutes of video games and 10 minutes of sports and then 10 minutes of news or them just talking about whatever.
Right.
And then a whole show we did that we didn't get to use, a couple of them. And then we moved to just being a video game podcast where we just get news stories and pull out quotes from news stories and talk about our reactions to it.
Mhm.
And then it became where we make the show and cut it up into daily episodes. That recently started. That's only been the last like 5 or 6, something like
And
that.
we moved, and what's interesting is we actually moved, like, if you go back and watch the first ones, we were on the couch, and then we were sitting on chairs.
Yeah, this
then
used
we
to
were-
be where the
then we were at
camera
this
was.
table. And then, we've gone through like 17.5 different sets.
I also-
17.5. It's
I forgot what we used to do.
17.5.
Our whole channel has gone through this iteration.
Yeah.
Because we started as like Let's Plays where we would record for an hour
Right.
and then we put out a 10-minute episode of just kind of the best bits.
We're going to call this the Channel Confessions video.
Yeah, this is us discussing what we want to do with the channel
These are
next.
my confessions.
Because I at a meeting today,
Want to lay it all on the line. Sorry, I have that song into my head. All I can think of is Usher right
like
now.
you sitting at a piano and just like one light down,
It's
and like it
actually
fades in with like you just like at like 50% opacity.
Yeah, that's
Lay it
like
all
from the
on
corner.
line.
You're gonna have to Photoshop that because I don't have a piano. Well, I do, but it doesn't. It sounds like
I know where
electric.
we can use a piano. But essentially is at a meeting today, we
giving him the hands for it, so we don't
met
have
with
to
a
Photoshop that.
CEO of a really successful company here in town, and he said something that really struck a chord with me. He said, if you want to change the results, change the approach.
Mm.
And our results for the last year and a half have been inconsistent.
Despite
And-
our consistency, which
Yeah.
if you go,
We've followed all the rules that
which,
we get from
you know,
successful
and it's
YouTubers.
again like I know that some people that we talk to, we talk to a lot of YouTubers. We haven't as much lately just because busy seasons in everybody's lives, but everyone always says the same things, right? You got the consistency, you've got just have like a common thread, a common theme, like have an identity for your channel, and then just like engage with your audience. Like those are the basic things, right? You've got your Twitter, you got your social media and all that stuff. You've got YouTube comment sections, which right now are okay because we don't have that many viewers, but eventually it might be a cesspool.
Shout out to the people that usually comment because we do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Don't hear anything in this video of us saying we're not appreciative of the people that do support us and
Right.
do watch our content.
Oh, yeah, because it's great. We
Because-
appreciate it.
And it's those numbers are few, and we put in a lot of work, and I know we're not alone in this. We put
Right.
in a lot of work for a small result. And so what we're doing is we didn't want to not make content this week.
Right.
But we also didn't necessarily want to do the same thing we've been doing for the last 43 weeks
Yeah.
and not getting results out of it. So we decided to just kind of turn the camera on and start talking,
Right.
and see if we can find our channel's identity and find out how we draw that out. Because like I said, we did the Let's Plays, then we changed to shorter Let's Plays that we didn't edit, and we also had a series we called The Couch There for a hot second, where we would just sit down and talk for
Just talk.
10 or 20 minutes, which was okay. And we've done
It started well and then kind of
and it
fizzled,
just like tapered off,
everything does.
became just like a weird thing.
Yeah.
And then we did like a 30-day vlog series, which was like a challenge thing, not necessarily us trying to start a series. But if had it taken off, we'd have done it. And we've done this podcast
Yeah.
that is now just a strictly games podcast, but it's just kind of us talking
It
about
started like a year
the
ago
hot
with
news.
just this show.
yeah,
Like this alone is a year old now. Like,
yeah.
We've missed a few weeks here and there, and so we're probably past a year.
We missed a
but-
month about a month ago.
right? And that wasn't our first break. But all of that to say, it's like we appreciate everybody that's watching, which we know it's not many, and that's fine. Like we're not disappointed with the
This
people
isn't
that
us
watch
complaining.
us. It's
This
just
is us wanting to get better.
we want to get better because we're both very ambitious people. We're both very competitive, and we want to be able to get better at what we do. And so, we've talked to a lot of people in real life. They're like, "Man, you guys really have a good blank." right? Whether it's, good voices or whether it's good presentation or blah, blah, blah. There's good things about it, but we just don't know where to go with that.
It's not getting in front of the eyes that want to see it, I think.
And so it's legitimately like we want that feedback. And I get that we may or may not get it from this, and that's fine and whatever. But
we're still making content. That's the idea.
It's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, well, we can Google all the marketing tips that we want till the cows come home, but we're going to come back with the same 5 or 6 things, right? Upload consistently and make sure you tag your videos and update your tags all the time, which I'm not going to do. That's exhausting for as many videos as we're putting out, right? 4 or 5 videos a week. Go back through and tag them again every week as stuff trains. Like that's not a thing that I'm going to do. That doesn't apply to what we're doing. We aren't, we're doing a news style format. So like maybe that format isn't what we do, and that's fine. So we're trying to find what's next. So they say, the tags and the consistency, and they say engage with your audience, and they say have good thumbnails. And I feel like our thumbnail game has like gone through the roof. Like it's been awesome since Shake started like doing more with that, and that's great. And then the titles, I feel like they're catchy. They catch me, but that's like I lived the video.
It catches you,
like
because the two of us are like
right.
think the same way. The same things catch our attention, and so I think I don't know. We always come back to this because every 2 or 3 months, and sometimes every 2 or 3 weeks or days, we come back to like, man, how come the channel's not taking off? What do we need to do? And the whole thing started, which we've had in a video before of why we started doing this, was playing with games and just like our friendship being something that people enjoyed being around and interacting with. And so our identity, I think we've danced around and sometimes bounced onto of the channel identity is our relationship.
Yeah.
And so how do we translate this relationship into something people want to watch or listen to? It's like, is it just an audio only thing? Do we just record a podcast and we hang out on the couch? Do we sit there and play video games and talk, which we were just talking about before we turned the camera on?
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the tough part. And we don't want to say that, we've been doing this a year and a half, we should already be famous, because that's not the point. Like, I know there's plenty of people out there been doing this for years that have gotten nowhere, but it feels like we took off really well. And then like February last year, we were already past 250. And we're like, all right, we're doing good momentum. People are starting to like and comment more. And it just stopped.
Yeah, we blasted our way to 250.
Like, I don't know what if the problem is our content, if the problem is just how YouTube has been lately. Like, I don't know what it is. And we can't seem to get people to go one way or the other. Everyone's always just lip service. Like, oh, it's so good. You guys are funny. You guys are great. Keep doing it. It'll work out eventually. It's like, I don't think that's good enough anymore, because it's not, right? And Insanity's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I have no problem doing this show because I enjoy doing it. But I mean, the amount of work that we're putting into it on a weekly basis, we want to see, not necessarily like, we're not looking for a number, but we're looking for growth.
We're looking for a return on our investment a little bit.
And it's like, we're not saying like, if we don't get 5 subs a week or 10 subs a week, we're going to quit and we hate this. Like, that's not it. It's just like, we just don't know how to take our channel from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we have something. We feel like the relationship and the things that we have makes people laugh, and it's entertaining. It entertains me, entertains our wives, which I guess that's kind of a limited sample size. But everybody we talk to in real life that takes time to watch our videos says those things. So how do we get that marketed to more people? Is it advertisements on Facebook? Is it Google AdWords stuff? Is it buying our own website and then promoting that website, which has embedded YouTube links? Like, what's the deal? Like, do we call a marketing firm?
What's the deal? Sorry. I've been watching comedians in cars getting coffee with you. And they just wonder, what's the deal?
And, but so it's like, do we call a marketing firm and tell them to look at our YouTube channel and ask how we market it? Like, what's the next step? Because I feel like we have a product that, while still maybe a little raw, like has potential. So where do we apply that potential? Like, we can't just ask all the big YouTube stars, because it's not like they're responding to the thousands of DMs that everybody sends them all the time.
Yeah, they don't have time to look at our
They don't
our
have
lowly
you can't just send a Disney email. Business email.
Send an email at markiplier.bisney.com. Hi, you're watching the Bisney channel.
So, it's just, those are the things that we wonder. It's like, how do we get from point A to point B? So maybe it's more social engagement. I haven't been as busy on social media. I was also sick for like 5 days. So it's tough, and we don't have any answers. And so we're just talking it out right here, right now. Right here. right now, right here, right now.
There's an actual song that says
There
like
is.
right here.
Oh, definitely not what I was thinking.
now.
No,
Something like that.
I was thinking of like it sounded like a Jock Jams kind of song. Right here.
Come
Right
on
now.
and slay.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like that. You know that style.
Listen
You
to
know
this
Jock Jams.
story of someone talking about when they were a kid. And spoiler, this is what going to be like a lot of the episode, just off track nonsense.
I have no idea how long this is going to go either. We
It's
could
going to go until we've decided that we've nothing to talk
And we
about.
may cut this. Who cares? I don't
Yeah.
even know. I'm not the editor.
There's no forum for this anymore.
I'm just
But
contributing
he's talking
talent
about when
in
he
most
was a
cases.
kid and he wanted to listen to like Post Malone, but mom and dad
Right.
aren't a fan of that, so he'd buy a Post Malone CD and then a Now That's What I Call Music CD, and then you throw out the Now That's What I Call Music CD, put the Post Malone CD in the Now folder and the Now case, and be like, oh, I bought some music, and they're like, oh, what'd you get? Oh, I get this Now CD. Oh, cool, and then you just go upstairs and you're listening to the music you want. And I'm like, man, wish I'd have thought of that.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't feel like an idiot. Because now to sneak music past your parents, you just
Yeah, I just saw
Download Jungle.
Gila showed me a headline today. Sorry, James's wife showed. Why did I need to
Why'd
cover
you
my
cover your
hand?
mouth? Insert your wife's name here.
But she showed me a headline that Best Buy announced they're going to stop selling CDs in store.
Well, it's about freaking time.
I kind of forgot they were still selling them.
Oh my gosh, we were talking about old music came up in a meeting today, and somebody's like, somebody thought they still like. I think I have that Jars of Clay CD still. I'm like, why? People were mad. I say mad at me. Like I point out, people are like, oh man, I haven't heard that song in forever. Hey, there's.
I wanted
it's
something
great.
different on the screen, so this is what it is.
They were like, oh, how, like whatever happened to this song or whatever. I remember that song, and I was like, yeah, there's a reason you don't hear it anymore. They're like, why are you always gonna be so negative about things? Because I want things to change. Like I don't want to. I don't listen to this music still.
Well, I was listening.
Be in
to,
this style still. That's
I was
what I
listening
do.
to the country station in Lincoln the other day while I was taking Liam to daycare.
Lincoln.
And they were talking about Super Bowl commercials and how like lately they haven't been that great and
They've
they haven't
like
been
a
as
giant
memorable.
whining bummer.
Yeah, this year was actually really
This
good.
year was pretty
They
good.
didn't think this year was all that great, but then they went and listed off like six
I
really
do
good
have
ones.
a little bit of a beef with this year's commercials, but I'll get to it when you're done.
Right. But so they were talking about it and they said that the Budweiser commercial, remember the frogs, right?
Yeah.
Classic, right? That's 23 years ago.
Gosh.
20 you were 3 years
I was 3 years old. You were 4.
I was 4 when that happened. So there's no way I remember it live. Right? Probably.
But I remember seeing it
I'm
on
su-
TV still.
I'm sure they were like on TV after that, but it's just it's interesting. It's an age thing. Like I loved the commercials this year. Like they were great. Tide killed it. By the time the
Tide did
second
amazing.
by the time second half came around, I thought every commercial was for Tide.
You never know because you're
just had no idea.
waiting for his name, which I don't remember.
David something. David from Stranger Things.
Yeah, the guy that
sheriff.
plays
The
Hawk
sheriff
from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But Hopper.
Hopper. There you go.
It's Hawkins, Indiana. He's Hopper. But he just popped up. He's like, no, it's a Tide ad.
And so they would like
So every time there was like just like an open landscape, you're like, all right, or people in clothes, you're
Right.
like, this is a Tide ad.
well, because when they first started it, it was like famous starts to commercials, like the Old Spice guy on a horse. It starts that you're thinking, oh man, we haven't seen these for like 10 years. It's like, hey, it's me sitting on a horse.
I was upset.
And then it
I was on the phone during that ad.
expands out, and it's like a double length horse, and Hopper's sitting on the back. We're like, no, it's not. It's a Tide ad.
Get off my horse.
And it's just, it was stuff like that, like the Mr. Clean, right, with the Mr. Clean animation, and
Yeah.
then she turns and looks at her, and then it turns back, and it's
Like it's a Tide ad. Look,
and then he's like, it's classic.
is every commercial just a
It's
Tide
just so
ad?
well done. I really
Yes.
like the Giants with Eli Manning
That
going
was
around.
great. Did you see the memes of like Eli Manning was technically the Super Bowl, so that's why
Right,
the Patriots lost.
It's 3 of them. Yeah, I did see that. But it was really, if you didn't see it, they had like 3 like 10-second clips over the course. I think it was in this just in the second half, and it was just Eli Manning talking to people about it didn't make any sense at all, and then they just cut it. Like it seemed like an
Like,
unintentional
abrupt
cut.
ending.
And then the final time he came out was with Odell and did the Dirty Dancing dance, which I forgot that it was Dirty Dancing. But it was so funny. So there was some really good ones. I think this year was much better
Yeah.
because they went for funny as opposed to
Which is what
social
we all
commentary.
want out of Super Bowl commercials. Like,
Yeah.
but the beef I had with some of the commercials this year, maybe 5 of them,
Mhm.
maybe, was the ones that are like, here's this awesome commercial. So Dodge is one of them, right? They had the
Right.
Viking commercial,
Yeah.
or Ram, rather, whatever.
Right.
Had the Viking commercial where they're all picking up and they saw and they turn around and they're just like doing cool stuff. And it says, for the full story, go to ram.com/Super Bowl.
Ugh.
For the full story, go to blank.com/Super Bowl. Like, no, First of all, because if you're not going to put it all here, I'm not going to your website.
Right.
Because I don't need the pop-up going up of like, sign up for our emails. Ding, want to buy a truck? No, I want to watch your commercial, but it's in your crappy embedded video player
Right.
that doesn't work and shows it to me at 360p.
Right.
Like, I don't need that in my life. I don't got time for that. I just show me your commercial in the Super Bowl like you're freaking supposed to.
Right. Like it was funny because it happened on that one. I'm like, okay, cool. I felt that was fully contained. And then like, see the rest of the story. Like there was no cliffhanger. Like I saw what I needed to see. Vikings in a truck, then pulling a boat. Then the boat was in the water, pulling the truck, and then back in the truck again. That's funny. I'm good. I'm happy. There's no more to that. I kind of like the open-ended ones, which are like, there was one I think a few years ago that was like a car accident or something and was having you go to their website. That was cool. That was well done. I'm happy with that. But there was literally no reason to go there. I had gotten, and then the other thing that bothered me, this really grinded my gears up.
It's not going to be a thing.
No, it's
That's
not.
a copyrighted thing.
I don't care. It's whatever. If we can get to the point where we get a copyright on this video, then then we have succeeded and I'm
Just make
fine.
sure not to put
I don't even care
like tag
anymore.
grind my gears in.
grinded my gears up.
You know what really ground my gourds? You know what grinds my gourds?
So it was a Dodge commercial. I think it was probably a Ram commercial, but it was where they took Martin Luther King's speech and overlaid it a bunch
that
of
was
like
good.
over really inspiring stuff. But then it was like, oh, I'm going to sell a truck. Like,
Yeah.
no, screw you.
That was a really good
Martin
commercial
Luther
until
King
that point.
did not make those speeches so you could make stupid, asinine commercials for freaking $50,000 trucks. No,
For
I'm
just an
sorry.
okay truck.
Martin Luther King Jr. would be pissed. I didn't know him. Of course, I don't know what but come on. Do you think he'd be okay with that? That's stupid. It's just, I don't get like how people like look at that and be like, oh, that's such a good idea. I do want to go buy it.
It was a
No.
really well produced commercial, and then it was like Ram. Remember, like their
So
thing used to be
annoying.
like Guts, Glory, Ram, and it was
Right.
like Sam Elliott, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. That's cool. That's an awesome truck.
right.
You know what they don't do anymore? That. And
I just don't-
I like the Ford
mm.
commercial so much better, or at least what they were up until recently. If they've changed it, it was like Dennis Leary doing voiceover.
Yeah,
and
he
it
still
was a lot
does
of like
those.
text and flying.
Yeah.
The video was cool. I'm like, that's cool looking. I already own an F-150, so I don't need to go buy one.
Yeah.
But if I didn't, I want one.
Those commercials are way better than the Chevy ones, which I haven't seen
Like
any
a
recently.
rock.
So.
Is that still what they do? Oh, like a rock.
No, they do not do that anymore.
What is Chevy's thing now?
Uh,
What's their catchphrase?
it's
Because it's
the-
built Ford tough,
I don't
and then
know, but I just know it's that douchey guy that brings in like unpaid actors.
oh, those commercials are awful.
Yeah, they're so terrible. But yeah, they keep
'Cause
making
it's
them.
where they like drop a bunch of rocks into the bed of a truck. I'm like, first of all, what are you
Have you
hauling
s-
those rocks for?
Have you seen the
in that
one?
truck?
The one where they meet with like 7 people on an overpass that's like shut down, and there's like traffic all around them, like in a busy, and people are talking about horror stories about how they've broken down on the interstate, and then they like pull up. It's so stupid, but we're talking about it. We talk about their commercials, how much we hate them. We got the guy that looks kind of like Mark Wahlberg, with the New Jersey accent, that like photoshops himself
Dub
into
in,
him.
yeah.
So hilarious, really funny, also slightly offensive, but still,
Yeah.
I
Oops.
like that part of those commercials. But that's about it. So all
So
that
anyways,
to say,
all that to say, we don't know what we want to do to make YouTube videos.
yeah.
But
So
what we talked about
yeah,
was, and I kind of passed over it. It'd be a blending of all the things that we've done,
Mhm.
kind of ground up into one thing, of us just like hanging out, like we're playing video games, but we're not necessarily talking about. It's not necessarily a let's play. Like we're playing video games, so yes, technically it is.
right.
But we would sit down and like we would talk about the Super Bowl commercials while we're playing. Probably not Cuphead because it requires a lot of focus. But like while we're playing like Rare Replay, or well, probably not because it's an Xbox game. We need to record on the PlayStation. So while we're playing like God of War, or while
Crash.
we're playing Crash Bandicoot, or which there might be a new one if you're curious. I'll still put the links below. You should go check it out.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about
We're not
it.
going
but
to
it
really
could-
talk about it, but there was a leak for like what was going to be Insane Trilogy ported to the Switch in PC, but not necessarily mentioned of Xbox, but was changed out to be a new Crash game in 2019. So check it out. But like us, just there's a thread or like a visual thing for people to look at, because admittedly you and I are not that interesting to look at for I would say a good 20% of people. So.
That seems high.
But it's just like, oh,
No,
like,
I get you.
It would be we would be like the main frame. Get in the main frame. I'm the Friendster. You're having a Friendster. And, remember that old Dane Cook?
Yeah. No, I
Like he
do.
did the whole like. I just wanted to. What was the movie?
This is the one here's the doctor.
Entourage.
Entourage.
Entourage
okay,
is what it is. I'm gonna leave that full like 5 seconds of silence, but it'd be like a little video like down. Oh, I got the video right here. So hang on, give me a second. It would be this, maybe a little bit bigger.
Probably a little bigger, yeah.
Oh, my bad. So this big, here's a video of us playing a video game, and here's us talking.
Right.
So I mean, we would be facing this way. You wouldn't see the TV, but
we might, who knows? We might make the other video bigger. I don't know. It's just
I don't know. Put
that's
it up in
an
the corner. We move
option,
it.
but
We're
we
just trying to think of a way for us to like harness this relationship into a video that people watch,
Right.
and they're going to be shorter because long form content isn't being consumed that much. And looking
Right.
at audience retention on the stats, like we're holding people for about 5 minutes,
right, which
is fine and is expected.
it's understandable. It's just how it goes. And also with the lower view count we have, it's really hard to rely on audience retention because of there's just such a low number for it. Like if we were looking at numbers in the hundreds, we'd have a better idea of that average value. So I think with 8 people, it's like, well, yeah, maybe that one person just accidentally closed down on their player, and that view, was like 2 minutes, and so it threw off everything. Like it's hard to say, but it's like, so we don't want people to think that we don't want to make content, because we do want to make content. We do. We enjoy doing it. We just want to make the best content that people want to see.
We want to make
the
the
end of the
content that is us. What is the inverted reality content? Like you go to the show, it's like, oh, it's another Let's Play channel, it's another gaming podcast. Like, no, like what is it? Is we go there because we like the feeling of what it's like hanging out with Jake and James, or we go there because they play games and it's fun to watch. We go there because they have video game knowledge, because they spend too much time reading articles and being in the gaming industry without getting paid to do it. Like, what is the thing? What's the draw?
It's the hook. It's that hook. I mean, it's twofold, because we want to know what you guys want to watch, but we also want to know what you guys want to share with your friends. So what's something that we can do? You'd be like, you know what? Not only do I like this, but I think I have some friends that would like this.
Yep.
Because if you're tuning in for video game news on a podcast in an hour format, that might be hard to give to your friends. Be like, hey, go check these guys out.
Yep.
But if it was like, hey, these guys make 5-minute videos of them playing video games and talking about boobies, then great, fine. We love talking about birds. We're big bird watchers. That's not where you thought I was going with it. So, I love blue-footed boobies personally. Those are some.
I'm more of an Arctic Tern fan, if I'm being completely
almost
honest with
made
you.
But so those are the questions that we're asking. Those are the things that we're looking to answer. I feel like if we had the answers, then it would just happen and we would do it. So we're frustrated, but we don't want to
frustrated
stop.
with anyone. We're just frustrated that we haven't
hit.
We want to crack the code of what our channel is.
Yeah, because everyone always says like, "Oh man, you guys really have. You guys are close. You guys could be the ones that break through. Great. Why? Like, we don't.
What
know.
is it, and what do we need to do to crack that?
Like, how do we
barrier?
continue to do that? So that's the key. I want to leave with one fun gaming note. I have played the absolute bejesus out of Assassin's Creed. I was sick all weekend. My wife was out of town, so I played this for an obscene amount of time. I can't remember the last time that I have sat down at 8:30 on a Saturday morning and looked up at the clock 9 hours later and had no idea what day it was. Like, I've never gotten drawn in like that. It took a few hours for the game to get going, but this is a legendary outfit. It's maybe hard for you guys to see, but it's all black and it's gorgeous and it's awesome.
It's very dark.
It is very dark, but that's okay. You can fix that in post. It's fine.
Actually, I can't.
Shut up. So it's awesome, and it was just something I did after completing a really hard quest. And some people are like, oh man, you can only get an outfit for doing that. I'm like, yeah, but the outfit looks awesome, so screw you.
Got him.
But I think I'm at 50 hours right now. I'm still working on it. I flew past you.
Yeah.
Based on this brief conversation we had earlier about it. I love it. I think my favorite part about it is that the side missions, not only are they pretty unique, granted, after 40 hours, they start to repeat a little bit, right? But, I mean, they're just typical RPG formula, right? Go here, get this thing, go there, do this thing.
It's not all just fetch quests.
Right,
That's the thing.
exactly. And I think my favorite part about the side quests is you don't always have to go back to the beginning to turn them in.
Oh gosh, you just you get it when you finish.
You get it when you finish.
Like, oh man.
And the only times you actually go back to the person to turn them in is when it physically makes sense to do that. And so you just finish. So there's one time I saved somebody and I took them outside the prison and we're probably 2,000 meters away from where their camp was. I just set him there. I talk to him, and the quest completes. And he just runs off. I'm like,
It's your perfect kind of hiding. You got 3 feet away from who you were hiding from and stopped.
right, exactly. It's great. It's great. But I mean, there's some issues with it. Sometimes when you're following people, they'll just stop for no reason or go one way and then turn around. Like I had one where I was trying to escort a crocodile back to its home. And it took 25 minutes because I couldn't get the stupid thing to follow me. It would just stop in the middle of whatever it was not doing and just stay there. And it's like, well, I can't hit you because it doesn't do anything. And it doesn't make you do. I just had to wait and just maneuver around in
Gotta hold out
circles
some
before
meat.
it's so stupid. So there are a few things that bother me, but I'm 50 hours in. I've done almost everything. It's disgusting how much I've done in this game. Like
Yeah.
the size of this game is unreal. Like I thought Horizon was big. This has got to be like 2 or 3 times the size of Horizon. Like this map is absolutely insane. The scope
Maybe.
and just like the different environments you get into and how different each place is. And every time I was on one of the sync points, synchronization, eagle, landing,
Yep.
viewpoint, whatever, they change names all the time. But whenever I was on
No.
there, you saw a completely different like region, whether it was swampland or whether it was tropical forest or whether it was desert or whether it was mountains or whether it was rocks that look like mountains but are shorter. Like it was very different. And it was cool because in the loading screens, it like mingles in actual facts about Egypt and ancient times.
Yeah, and gaming
And,
tips.
and gaming tips. And then, because the story you're playing obviously isn't true, but
Yeah.
there are truths to it. Like you can see Alexandria in what people think it looked like back then. And
Yeah.
that's really cool to see these it's blowing me away. Like I'd love to be like, oh man, I should go play the other Assassin's Creed games, but they're not like this.
They're
Like
not.
at all. So kudos to them. Like I might actually buy the DLC. That's how good this has been. And I don't like DLC, especially for a single player game.
I was like, that's not true.
Well,
You
outside
Bought a
of,
ton of DLC.
well, come on, man. But I mean, for something like this, I never thought I would buy DLC.
Yeah, that I understand.
But I just want more of it. Like
Yeah.
it's just, and I'm not done yet, and I still have more to do. And even when I finish, a lot of times when I finish the main quest, and I haven't done all the other side quests, I'm like, I'm good. I'm done. Not the case in Horizon. I don't think it'll be the case here.
Yep.
So I'm just blown away by
There's
it.
your Assassin's Creed update for the week.
There you go.
That's all we've been
There
playing.
probably won't be like I'll probably finish it this week and then probably be done with it. So
Yeah.
I should be on to. I think I'm gonna do Shadow of War next. I haven't really decided. I'm kind of scared to take on another like 40.
It's gonna take me a minute to get back
40,
into
50
Shadow
hour
of
game.
War.
I know you got stuck in a couple places. And
Well,
got
like I'm
frustrated.
not like stuck right now. Where I'm at right now is just like it does fall into the RPG trap of like, yeah, it's pretty much the same, over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I have to be higher level to move on. Well, I say
Right.
I don't have to be, but I'm the kind of guy that over levels before he goes into the
Right.
next thing.
Yeah.
So I over level myself and then walk in. I was like, well, now I'm at this point where I'm like, all right, I could chase this dude through the city, and then like 5 guys show up in the middle there, and I gotta hope that I'm paying enough attention that they don't kill me, so I can not have to chase this guy up through the ranks, and he's partnered with this other dude.
yeah.
Almost every orc is partnered with somebody else, so
Mhm.
there's always gonna be 2, and it's like
Mhm. So it's just, is it hard then or
it's not hard. It's just like I'm so done with getting into a boss fight that I thought was gonna be a guy, and like you start fighting, and then it interrupts your fight with the animation of him going Ranger, blah 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 blah. And you're
Yeah.
fighting, and then all of a sudden another guy shows up, and you got to pause for another animation, and you got to kill them all. And some guys aren't weak to the same things. Most of them are weak to you being able to jump over and stab in the back. Some
Right.
guys you can't do that with. Some guys you have to stun. But it's hard to do in the middle of a fight because you have to. It's like Batman where you have to hit him like several times
Yeah.
in the same kind of swoop. But you can't really do that when there's all kinds of people around.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, this kind of drags a little bit right here.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure the story is great and it's fun, but I'm just like, I'll
That's
come back
fair.
to it when I've got nothing else to do. And
That's
Far Cry
fair.
comes out next month.
Yep,
So
that's
I'm
true.
planning on having
They
plenty
did
of stuff.
just announce the season pass. If you get Far Cry 5 with season pass, comes with Far Cry 3 Classic.
I'm
like,
tempted.
Remastered for PS4. That doesn't come out till this summer. But if you get the season pass, I think there's 3 DLCs planned. DLCs for Far Cry are always crazy. Like they're not normal DLCs.
No.
You remember Blood Dragon? That one was insane. So Far Cry 3 Classic Remastered come out. It'll also be, you can buy that separate if you want, but just some incentive.
That incentivizes me because I played Far Cry 4.
Right?
And I will play Far Cry 5.
was pretty classic.
And so I might get season pass just to have Far Cry 3 and the DLCs because I really dig Far Cry.
Because by the time you get through Far Cry 5, 3 will probably be out. So it'll be
Yep.
summer because it's going to be a long game. I would assume. I don't know. I've never played them. I'll play.
It's It's as long as it should be, in my opinion.
All right, one more video game to talk about. All right, then we're gonna be done. It's like 4 screenshots ahead, so I'm not gonna bother flipping to it. So
What are we talking about?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, right.
It dropped.
I watched somebody.
It dropped on the
do
6th.
play through this.
You're
I
not
watched
supposed to
Achievement
be-
Hunter.
You're not supposed to be watching that. You're supposed to be. Cause did you play this when you were a kid? Shadow of the Colossus?
I played it in college.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I never played it. I never played it. I'd heard of it, never touched it. Like I've watched a couple of videos on it, but the biggest thing that everybody says about it is if you're gonna play it, go in basically blind. Like I know
Yeah,
nothing
you
about
should.
it. I know there's a bunch of colossi. I know you have to kill them. That's all I know. I've seen pictures of a couple of them, but I've never experienced it. When I just
That is the entire game.
it wasn't my style of game when I was growing up. A lot of times the games you picked out when we were growing up was just you look at the box art and decide what you want, and your parents say yes or no. That was the extent of it because you couldn't exactly Google it when we were kids. You couldn't go and look at online reviews. You would just have to go
Yep.
with what you see in the store. So I never picked it up. And so it's been remastered for PS3 and then now PS4. This one's done from the ground up. Looks unbelievable. I'm probably going to Redbox it just to see if it's for me, but I think I'm going to like it. And yeah, I might pick it up. I may wait until it gets a little bit cheaper just because.
Yeah. On
you
one
know,
level, I can see where you would enjoy it. On another level, I can see where you absolutely would not. Knowing what I
Right.
know about it.
That's fair. So we'll see. I don't know. Right now I'm just engrossed in Assassin's Creed Combat. I had a breakthrough probably like 15 or 20 hours
Go
in.
take a break before playing Shadow of the Colossus if you're looking for Assassin's
Oh
Creed
yeah.
combat.
No, I just because like I just had a breakthrough with like how to push buttons and maneuver and dodge and all this stuff, and I finally like jumped up a level in my ability to combat other people, and it's just so much more fun. That combat is just so visceral and satisfying, and just I love it.
What you're talking about is the Dark Souls breakthrough.
Yeah, I know.
It's the like
That's what I
spending
worry about.
hours on hours on hours of like, why am I just so bad at this game? Then all of a sudden it clicks. You're like,
Yeah, that's why
I can win.
I keep getting that. Like I know it's different, but I keep
It
getting
is
some of
very
those. I keep getting some of those vibes from it. Like just
Assassin's Creed is
like
much
in the
more
one-on-one
forgiving.
like boss fights, they're not honestly that difficult, but I can see some of the mechanics like, oh, he's gonna swing here and then swing there and swing there, so I gotta dodge, then I gotta dodge, then I gotta back up, then I gotta roll. I gotta
that
do this.
dude you had to fight after you met up with Cleopatra was annoying. Because like he got to the end where he's super tired
Yeah.
and it just like runs at you and runs at you.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you do it the first time, you're like, how many times is he gonna run? I can't fight. And if he hits me once, like I'm there
Right.
and I don't get to move. That's just the end of my health bar for
Yeah,
that
that's true.
segment. And so it's just like stay out of
It's
his way.
interesting. It's interesting. So I really like it, and I realize that I'm not gonna find it. That's part of the reason why I think I'm gonna be sad to leave it behind because I don't know where I'm gonna find another combat system like that. Like I know jumping in Shadow of War is gonna be wildly different.
Batman.
That's true. That's
I
true.
just think the Arkham games are done though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
They probably should be.
they've had enough of those. Like I have no problem with having a Batman game, but what was the last one? Was Arkham
Knight.
Knight, and it was just
It was good.
yeah.
I liked it.
It was big. It was huge. City was just insanely.
City
big,
was
like,
big.
way too big.
Asylum's still my favorite one.
Asylum was really solid.
Like I played
I played it in a weird
I
spot
played
in my life,
Origins.
so I have Origins.
It's
I
fun.
got like halfway through it and then just
It's
that-
fun. It got a bad rap because it's not Rocksteady.
yeah.
It's WB Montreal.
Yep.
And so people are like, oh, it's not really part of the thing, but it's like
Right.
if you play it, it feels just like it. So
Yep.
what are we complaining about? It's the difference in like the Bungie Halo and the 343 Halo.
Yep.
But
Nerds.
so that's the show this week.
Yep.
However it turned out,
I don't know where
we'll all know on Friday.
we can always post it before Friday. Just oh wait, no, it's Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
What
say-
day is it?
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I have no idea.
We'll
what's
post it
gonna
on
happen.
Friday because that's the schedule
That's true.
we have,
All right,
and we'll
fine.
stick to that schedule. So what
Right,
might
fine,
happen
Dad.
now
Yeah.
is if we keep doing something like this or do something else, it might go back down to one video a week. That will still probably be on Friday at noon, just because that's a good window for us.
Mhm.
Because it gives me plenty of time to work on it.
Yep.
So, but thanks for kind of sticking with.
I was gonna
It's
say.
so much to just
Make sure
do.
you let us know. I know we always ask for this, but if you guys have gotten this far, you can obviously tell that we need feedback and honest feedback. Like I'm fine with pointing out issues. Like the set we have is temporary. I'm moving here in the summer, and we're gonna have a semi-permanent setup. Like our mics will always be in the same place, and our TV and our camera, and we'll have like a desk that we're gonna build, and we're gonna have like a legit setup that will always be there, and it'll make it a lot easier to record. It'll make everything a lot easier without having to spend a ton of money. So that's happening. So I get that our set's maybe not the best thing about it, but like legitimate like feedback. Like, why do you guys watch? What would you want to watch more of? I'm gonna reach out to some of you guys individually. If you guys are, if that sounds familiar, then you know that I'm talking to you. I just want to know what you guys think, because we want some direction, and we're not just mailing this in so that way you guys can tell us what to do. We're also working very hard, but it'd be a lot easier if you guys just told us what you wanted, right? Isn't that what?
At the end of the day, yeah.
Tell us what your friends want to watch. There you go.
Exactly. What would your friends watch? If you're making that content, great. What would they want to watch from somebody else? All right, guys. Follow us on Twitter at IR Games. That's where we're doing everything else when we're not on a video.
Yep.
But thanks for hanging out.
Bye.
Bye.